where we talk and we share information and knowledge about everything, really, about leadership and working in corporate settings, especially. Now, when COVID hit a couple of years ago, I was head of a department back then and was asked to do a massive review about how the business can be sustainable, how we can continue working. And remote working for roles was practically the answer. So, what we did is we analyzed each role and determined if the person in the role could and wanted to work from home. And it was quite easy that most people who were not, say, customer facing or were not out in the field could actually work from home. So I developed a strategy and it was approved, and our business changed the way that we did things. So that was great. And then it kind of morphed into a hybrid way of working, as some people really wanted to come back to work once or more a week. And that was fine too. Now, what I find fascinating is why some companies are mandating a return to the office. Now, especially if the role and the person could easily continue to work from home. Now, even these days when I'm, doing my own research on seek.com, which I love doing, I can see that there are roles that state that you can work from home, but it has to be in the same state. So take New South Wales, for example. The office could be in the city, but I live in Foster, for example, and I can still get the job because I work in the same state. But if I lived in Canberra and was 5 minutes from the border of New South Wales, I couldn't. Now, that's the thing that I find extremely odd at the moment. Now, another thing is how businesses want people to come back to the office. And when people do, all they do is end up in Zoom meetings with others who may still be working at home on their hybrid days at home, for example. Now, why are businesses doing this? I find that fascinating. Now, I can think of three reasons. Now, study shows that there's the executive and the employee disconnect, for example, about returning back to the office. Executives thinks that's what people want, but that's not what people want, or not everyone wants. People who are able to work from home and they want to work from home, they should be able to continue working from home, basically, if, of course, their work is, not being impacted, of course. Now, another one could be there's an executive excitement about returning back to the office. Now, this simply tells me that there is a lot of old-fashioned thinking or old school thinking about employment. Now, however, it could also be an emotional step where the executives feel that they're actually helping people feel, like they did pre-pandemic. Another reason is that those offices need to be filled, or else why do we have them? Now, I have basically experienced all of them and have seen all of these examples come to light. And even though people understand that the world is changing and understand that most are actually very content with the hybrid way of working, however, many want to choose when their days are in the office or at home rather than being mandated or told. Now, that's human nature. Now that people know that they can work from home, but still want to connect with people in the office and get out of the house, they want to continue having that choice. Now, choice is our ability to make decisions when we're presented with two or more options. Now, the psychology of choice, of course, explores now what we subconsciously make the decisions that we do and what motivates those decisions for us and what needs that these decisions are meant to satisfy for us as human beings. Now, to have those choices taken away, now that we know we have choices, can be quite hard for the human brain to actually comprehend and get their head around it. Now, then you have situations where the executives are making all the decisions because that's how they like to work. Now, don't get me wrong. There are a whole host of CEOs and boards out there that are investing in better technologies, putting a lot of money in it, or even having technologies in place so that they can offer people more choice. However, there are a select group out there that, who want things to simply go back to the way that they used to be. Now, I've heard one COO, said that he finds it peaceful at work than at home as his wife keeps talking to him. So everyone should be at work as well because he wants to see people. Now, that's not exactly a strategic decision, shall we say, and the impact that has made, well, it can put people off straight away. And then he changed his mind and said that everyone must be in the office 3 days a week. Now, that's also fascinating because there were quite a few part timers, for example, who only worked 3 days a week or even less. Now, I've had leaders, for example, ask me, so what shall I do? Well, answer is quite simple. Ask your workforce, I say. Catch up with them, and you'll get an idea very quickly about how they feel. Run a survey if you need to and find out, anonymous survey. Then create your strategies based on that. And of course, your business objectives as well. Now, other executives that I know, simply want their building and their office space to be occupied, and that's it. Well, we pay for it, so it needs to have people in it, they say. That's fair enough. However, I've also had other executives who suggest that the office becomes the place where people go to print, to read, to research, and to meet other people rather than a place to place people in. So it becomes like a place that people go to. That's a different way of thinking. And why not? It's a different world. Now, if you are a leader listening to this, maybe ask yourself now, which employees should come back, what roles and when, and most importantly, why? Now, what does a return to the workplace actually look like for people? Who should be part of the return to work project team? Because you might actually need one, especially if you're a medium sized or a large organization. And if you're an employee, ask yourself, now, how do you like to work? And if your choice is different to the one that of the business, can you have a case showcasing basically your choice? Can you show your efficiency and how well you have met your outcomes so far? Is there a return to work team that you can talk to or share your thoughts with or concerns with, if you have any in your workplace? So think about pros and the cons of the scenarios and realistically think about how this is going to impact you or if it's not going to impact you. Now, as someone who also, dabbles in a little bit of recruitment, let me tell you that talent is very short out there. Now, employers are desperately looking for people at the moment. So if you are someone who, have particular choices, share them as part of your employment negotiation process, for example. And if you're already in the business, well, then, realistically think about your situation and what it's like for you at the moment, the love or the no love that you have for what you do, and any impacts that this might have on you. Now, personally speaking, I no longer go into the office to work. I have a 6-year-old daughter that I care for, and I need to drop her off basically at school, and I need to pick her up as well. I also have a couple of volunteering, sessions and places that I go to, which take about less than 30 minutes a week of my time. Very small. And I also run a couple of other businesses. So I can't be placed in the office, as freedom is really important to me. That's one of my highest values. And I negotiate that whenever I take on projects or any coaching work or any work in any corporations, for example. It's really not hard to do. And trust me, most employers are listening. Well, at least the ones who understand the meaning of motivating and keeping their talent and making it a great place to work. So yes, COVID may be disappearing in some people's eyes and minds, but that doesn't mean that the world, haven't exactly changed because of that. Now, others are enthused about returning back to the office and others aren't. And you know what? That's the norm at the moment. And, it's really about choices and it's really about personalizing employment options. Now, that's the secret about retaining staff is having those options and making people feel that it's for them, no matter how different the situation is. Thank you for listening. And if you're interested in any of these kind of conversations, feel free to subscribe if you wish to. Till then, look after yourself.